Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, making $3 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $31 million and its worldwide total to $46 million. So the movie had a stronger hold than its second week, with this week's drop-off being 38, while last week's being 57, which is honestly pretty surprising. I thought that it would have, while not as steep as a drop as last week's, I thought it would be in the 45-40 range, but no, it was able to hold strong this weekend, which I was very surprised by. It also managed to cross the $30 million milestone domestically, and this also puts it just $5 million behind its reported $50 million budget, which is also very good. The issue, though, is once again, it needs to double that in order to become a success, and I don't see that happening that very soon, especially since it's already at number 5, and it's going to need such a boost in order to at least get to 80 million worldwide. And once again, I think it's going to struggle to get anywhere near the domestic total of the first film, obviously due to the pandemic, but also since, once again, for the second time during this film's theatrical performance, the film has stiff competition on the horizon, which we'll get to at the end of the video, that I think are definitely going to steal a majority of this film's audience. But who knows? Maybe it might continue to have these strong holds, but outside the top 5. Maybe we'll see reports of it being the sleeper hit of the summer. Who knows? But for right now, it's looking like this might be the end game for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Number 4 is A Quiet Place Part 2, making $4.1 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $144 million domestically and $242 million worldwide. So although this is the much bigger success, much like The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, I think this film is on its way out. It is dropped all the way down to number 4. I think everyone who wanted to see it has already seen it and supported it the most, and it's looking like its successful reign at the box office is nearing a close. Not to disregard its success, however, because this was still a terrific performance. I am still very happy that the film was able to make the amount of money that it was able to, but I definitely think that in the following weeks, the film should be out of the top 5 very soon. If not next week, then most likely the week after. But still, great job, Quiet Place Part 2. What a terrific performance at the box office. So happy it was able to be this successful and being one of the first big hits of the box office post-pandemic. Once again, great job. Moving on to number 3, we have The Forever Purge, which made $12.5 million on its opening weekend domestically and is sitting at $19 million worldwide. So it pretty much met my expectations, as well as I'm sure it met pretty much everyone's expectations, because honestly, I feel like pretty much everyone knew that this movie was just going to be mid to late teens, somewhere in that range. It wasn't going to be a breakout horror hit of the summer. This franchise has been on the decline since the last one. The last one didn't make nearly as much as election year, and it's looking like the decline will continue. It seems that fans aren't really as interested as they are. They're feeling some Purge fatigue, and I know that the producers and the filmmakers are saying, hey, this might not be the last one. We have more ideas. It doesn't really look like that's going to happen, but the benefit from this is that this movie, like a lot of pretty much all Blumhouse films, is that this is not an expensive movie. It costs like around $23 million to make, and it's pretty much made a majority of that already, so I'm sure it'll be able to double that very soon. But again, another factor is that these films usually have very steep second week decline, so we really need to keep an eye out for that second week drop off. Will it be as drastic as some of the other films in this franchise, or will there be a slightly less drop off next week? Who knows? But honestly, once again, wasn't expecting much for this movie, and I'm sure not a lot of you were, but hey, it's out at least, and hopefully fans are satisfied with how this movie turned out. Coming in at number 2 is The Boss Baby Family Business, which made 16 million on its opening weekend domestically and 21 million worldwide. So this is now officially the highest opening weekend for any family film post-pandemic, knocking Tom and Jerry's 14.1 million opening weekend back in February down a notch, unless if you count Cruella, but even then, that's just 5 million away from that film's 21 million opening weekend back in May, which is still really impressive considering that it's, well, The Boss Baby 2. This is a big win for DreamWorks since it had a much bigger opening than their previous films, The Cruise and especially Spirit Untamed, and considering it's got a higher opening weekend, and I think that since it opened at just the right time, just early July, right smack dab in the middle of the summer, not too early, not too late, I think it has a really good chance to have strong word of mouth and strong holds that makes it, quite honestly, one of the biggest hits of the summer, honestly. If it's able to maintain the strong holds and word of mouth is really good, which I think it will be able to since it is a family film, and family films have definitely proven that they are able to maintain strong, amazing holds, then this movie will definitely have a chance of being one of the biggest hits. Its only major downside is that out of the 3 films DreamWorks has released recently, this is the most expensive as it costed a reported $82 million. So it's probably going to need to work harder to be able to double that budget and have probably some even stronger legs than The Cruise 2 had, and that film only costed 65 million and was able to double its budget last year. So it's definitely going to need to work hard, but if Cruella can get to 200 million worldwide, then I see no reason why Boss Baby 2 won't be able to otherwise. Well, maybe not 200 million worldwide, but you know what I mean. And finally, let's close out the video with the number 1 movie of the weekend, and that was, of course, F9, The Fast Saga, for the second week in a row, making 23 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of 116 million and a worldwide total of 500 million worldwide. So not only did this film become the 3rd film to cross 100 million domestically, but it also crushed Godzilla vs. Kong domestically and internationally. This is probably the first blockbuster since Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker back in 2019. That is insane, and I think it's very safe to say that it will surpass Quiet Place Part 2 very soon. It may take a while, but it will definitely be able to do that. But the big headline for this weekend is the drop-off. This was a kind of a huge drop-off from last weekend with a 67% drop from its opening weekend. Now, let's be honest, this was pretty much on par for the course. This is a summer blockbuster action film, and those typically have huge drop-offs on their second weekend, and the Fast and the Furious franchise is no stranger to this. Fate of the Furious had like what, a 69% drop off back in 2017. So again, this was to be expected, honestly. But this does raise a huge question. Will it continue to have these big drop offs week after week, and are fans interested? Because like I said earlier in this video, there is kind of a really huge blockbuster that's finally coming out that people have been waiting for a really long time. So will that film be able to steal a large majority of this film's audience? Which the answer, I think, a lot of people already know. Or will it, well, still be able to do that, but will it be able to maintain strong holds? Because there have been several movies this summer who had steep drop-offs, like Quiet Place Part 2, that had a near 60% drop, and that was still able to maintain strong holds. And even The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which we talked about, had a 57% drop-off last week and was able to maintain a strong hold. So who knows? Maybe that will be the case. But as far as I know, this is still an amazing run at the box office, already surpassing Godzilla vs. Kong alone is something to be proud of. I think Universal is still happy at how this film is doing right now, but I definitely think that next week, not only is the new film hitting theaters something to keep an eye out for, but I think this one might be another one that we should also stay focused on to see how well it does. But still, good job, guys. You did a great job. You brought people back to the theaters, and people are showing their support for you. And those were the top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters this weekend. And this week we only have one. It's Black Widow. The number one movie of the weekend will be Black Widow. People have been waiting 2 years to see it, and now it's officially out. No more delays. Disney is finally putting it out. It doesn't even really matter that it's going on Disney Plus with Premier Access for $30. It will be the number one movie next weekend. I feel like I'm drawing this bit out for far too long, so let's just end the video right here and right now. But I will say again, Black Widow will be the biggest hit of next weekend. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you guys think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all of the social media links right there. And until next time, guys, stay sharp.